Beech, 1-0 defeat to Bromley today. Where was that game won and lost?
Well, it was obviously lost in the goal. Today, collectively, we didn't quite press correctly from the front, and it allowed a bit of growth in the first half for them. But because of that, we've seen a different side to us. So we've seen some real resilient defending, some excellent goalkeeping, some good blocks. A lot different to last week's situation, conceding the goals. And I was really pleased with that. Really pleased with the lads doing that.
Obviously, like I say, we saw that defensive resilience sort of forced into having that defensive resilience today. And obviously the goal conceded just a half an hour to go. What was your sort of interpretation of the goal that was conceded and how?
Well, it was a little bit too easy to come down the left flank and get the cross in. And of course we had bodies behind the ball trying to block it out. And from the angle I had in the dugout, there was people going towards the football, and he struck it really well on, over Theo's right shoulder. They got one right. When we had them opportunities, especially pushing the game, changing shape, obviously we didn't have a natural full left back today, but we changed shape to try and force something in on them, and we did. But what we didn't do is score that goal.
Obviously, like I say, we've shown the defensive solidity throughout the last two games. And is it concerning sort of the lack of clear-cut chances over the last two games potentially up front?
I think Saturday's game is a bit unique, last Saturday's. I think today, very difficult place to come. I think the only team that have beaten is Barnet. And the positions we've been in respect to prior to the last month or so, there's been a very good uplift in respect of that, and we have created many chances in the last third, and we should have done more last week when we had a lot of the football in the last third. This week you're not going to have it a lot. Probably don't play out, they go long, they got physical strikers, they have back it up with eights, so it's hard to win it back high because they don't play with it high, low. And then of course we have the opportunity to do that against them, but they want you to do that here, make mistake, and often they win the game through that. I thought we got the balance quite good considering it's an away fixture, but we needed a little bit more in the first half from the players to help support the resilient defending. And if we would have got that in 2 or 3 more lads, today would have been slightly different. But I was pleased with the reaction to the goal. I was pleased on creating the 3 or 4 chances near it towards the end of the game. And it's understanding trying to win a different way. Now Sutton did that against us, because the players have played a lot higher and understand Football League intelligence and difference. And I've got to try and help support the players to get better at that while we're in our current position. And I think they're doing that. So it didn't quite fall in today.
A few changes from the game against York last week. Some were enforced, some not. How are the lads that didn't feature today and that haven't featured for a while, how are they in terms of their recovery and progression?
You injured lads, you mean?
And, just injured or
well, there's quite a few injured and a bit of illness, so I'll have to obviously get feedback from Rebecca over the weekend. Natassi looks after them while we're here. Hopefully there'll be 1 or 2 back next week at some point. We had 17 fit lads today, and next week hopefully 17 becomes 18, 19 and 20, and then you've got more choice. But of course we didn't have a natural left back today.
One of the big positives today, obviously, the professional debut for Danny Ilmerod, come on with 25 minutes to go. How do you think he did on his first start?
Well, he nearly set the equaliser up, didn't he? And that's what I'm talking about. And he got to the byline and he clipped it back post, and John Ostabashi headed the football, and it nearly went in. They're the kind of things you need in an away game. You need to maximise less opportunity. Really pleased with Dan's progress, and he deserves to be with us. He's game, he's honest, he wants to do really well. They're great factors to have, and if anything, it reminds some of the older players before you become a professional and you've been released and not got a contract and picked up a bad injury, and he comes with no baggage but other than a real pureness to what he wants to try and achieve, and it can stimulate others.
Obviously, talking to Daniel Ilmerod, came through the Fylde Youth Academy. They had a fantastic win last night against Accrington, into the 3rd round against Hull, and potentially a massive tie in that 4th round against Man United. You'd hope that sort of positivity around the academy can sort of permeate then potentially to the first team as well.
Yeah, and I think it's worked the other way. I think the first team has, to beat Oldham, Gateshead and what we've done, the club's becoming more united. But I spend a lot of time with them and encourage that growth and the content in what they're trying to deliver. So for me, it's becoming more united as a football club. And of course, success breeds success. So I think the standards go up. You asked Dan how hard that 20 minutes was compared to 20 games in the youth team, and I'm sure he'll give you some greater detail on it. But I'm really pleased for him and his family, and I'm obviously really pleased for the academy. They deserve all the credit that they're getting off you guys. It's fully deserved.